So today I'm going to be talking about criticisms of the social types theory. So social types is kind of the hot thing that's going on in objective personality right now. But before we can truly incorporate it into the objective personality system, I really think that it needs to be fleshed out more. And I'll be explaining various reasons why. So the first thing is that with social types, there tends to be this false sense of hierarchy. Kind of like if you're a type 1, you're at the top of the pyramid, you're the best, you're the most successful in life. If you're number 4, well, sucks to be you, you're not as successful. And that is definitely not the case. There's plenty of social type 4s like Lynn Manuel Miranda, who are very successful in life. And then number ones that are kind of screwed up. Just because you're a number one, it means, well, you want to be the best. But does it mean that you actually are? No. So forget the sense of hierarchy. And I think this could help if they renamed the types rather than call them one, two, three, and four, call them something else. So the second criticism I have is the rigidity in the order that these social needs show up in each of the social types. So if you're a social type number 1, you are flex at the top, but then you have to be responsible second, specialized third, and friends fourth. And if you're number 2, you have to be responsible first, friends second, flex third, specialized fourth, and so on down the list. But why is that the case? And I think this is why a lot of people can't find their social type is they don't neatly fit into any of these orders. Like why, for example, if you're a 4, why can't you be friends first and responsible second? Why is that not an option? So I think, maybe if there was some more flexibility in this, people might buy into it more, might have a little easier time determining what their type is. The third criticism that I have is poor and unclear terminology that's being used. So for flexing, Dave and Shannon say it's about ego, be the best, at the top, crush everyone, legendary. First of all, I don't think flexing is a very good term to use because, flexing, I personally view flexing as, stretching your muscles, stretching your body, kind of like a Gumby or being a flexible person. Um, so maybe reword that a bit. Um, and and yeah, I think that number ones do want to be the best at the top, but this last one, legendary. I think they want to be legendary, but they're not always legendary, So that's something to look at and crush everyone. Um that might have a negative connotation to some people. I think especially those that maybe aren't ones, kind of like, I'm going to win at your expense and I don't care if you suffer. And that's not necessarily the case. They are some nicer type ones, but I do think that they do want to come out on top. I think that is kind of the essence of the type 1. For responsible, they define it as ownership, make it happen, no excuses, results. Well, the thing is that any social need can be responsible. Like you could be a specialized person down here, and they put responsible and specialized on opposite sides of a coin. But even if you're specialized, you can be very responsible in the literal sense of the word in your own area. And you can make it happen and get results in your own area. A friend's type could get results, with other people. Um, so I just don't think responsible is a very good term to define this. Um, I know Dave and Shan have talked about how responsible types, in their words, is somebody who kind of expands outwards. They're sort of like a manager, and they see all the different things that need to get done, and they're branching out and not just narrowing down, focusing on one task, but seeing the wider spectrum of tasks and wanting to do multiple different kinds of jobs and not just one specific thing. So that's kind of more the essence of it. So, and then we go to specialize. I think this terminology is generally good. They focus in on the task, they're productive in this one area. Now, Dave and Shannon also kind of talk about specialize as being the security oriented type. Like they're the ones that want to go to work and they want to make sure that they get their paycheck and have enough money to put into their 401k, which kind of fits the IJ human need in a way. And then finally, you have friends. Learn from others, move for others, care for others. And again, this causes some mistypings because some people will not type themselves as a four because they'll say, "Well, I don't have a lot of friends, and I'm kind of introverted, and I'm not very social," even though they may very well be the kind of person that learns from others, moves for others, and cares for others. And conversely, somebody who for whom friendship is a very important aspect of their life might mistype as a four, especially type twos that apparently have friends second. So I think we need a better word than just friends, especially if you're going to take that literally. So the fourth criticism I have is there tends to be overlap with existing coins. So if you look at this definition of flexing, for example, you can see that it overlaps a lot with DI, especially IP types, because it's about being significant. And then responsible. Now, you look at this description of responsible, well, it kind of sounds like blast, they're getting results, they're getting started, getting things done. And also, it just sounds like growth mindset, having ownership, no excuses, which any type can be growth mindset, by the way, not just somebody who's high and responsible. And then specialize. Well, that sounds a lot like OI, narrowing down, or sleep, because number threes are specialized first and then they're flex second. So it's kind of relating to DI and OI, um, especially IJ types. And then you have friends. So this sounds a whole lot like DE and play, especially the part about wanting to learn from others and moving for other people, especially EJ types. So how are you differing these social needs from human needs? How are they different? And this gets kind of confusing. The only one that doesn't really fit neatly is OE, like EP types. And I guess that would correspond best with responsible because they're branching out. But you look at the word responsible and it's like, how does that fit in with EP types? Now, I know that the social needs are different than human needs because you can have, for example, an EJ who's a type 1. Gary V is an example of an EJ type 1. Or you can have DI savior types that are fours, like Big Ramy and Lin Manuel Miranda. They're type fours, they're savior DI. So I know that they don't overlap entirely, but they need to be better differentiated because I have a hard time telling apart somebody who's just savior DE versus someone who's savior friends, for example. And finally, I think the social types may overcomplicate things. Objective personality is pretty complex already with 512 types. And I know plenty of people criticize OPS for that. Because it gets to be too much after a while. I mean, when I'm typing people, 9 coins is a lot to track. And now you want to increase it to 11 coins to 248 types? Ah! So, in conclusion, I do think that one positive thing about social types, because I know I've been criticizing it, but I want to say something positive, is that social types can be used to describe differences between those of the same 512 type. And it could be a good reason for why you don't relate to your 512 twin. My 512 twin and I are very different. And that could very well be why, is because you are a different social type. Um, and social types are interesting to think about. And don't get me wrong, even though I may have criticisms of this theory of social types, I'm still kind of obsessing about it. I do really think that there's something there to it. And I'm kind of obsessed with wanting to find out what my type is and not neatly fitting into the system, as I'll be explaining in my follow up video on this. However, I do think that the theory of social types needs to be much more fleshed out before fully incorporating it into the OPS system. So I do think that Dave and Shannon are kind of a bit premature in trying to incorporate this into the OPS system. Like in their last couple of classes, they've also assigned social types to these people. And I think that they're definitely seeing something there, but I think maybe they're being a little bit premature on this. So, yeah, that's my conclusion. And I'm going to be doing a follow up video where I try to analyze my own social type. So, stay tuned for that video and please subscribe to my channel for more videos. Bye bye.